actually, I like to do a lot of things that kind of fall into this category, but what we're talking about today is not a convention per se. This is really just about judgment. So there's no series of things that you have to memorize. It's really more judgment and understanding why we do some of the things we do, especially when we play match points. One thing before we get into today's topic, I do want to clean up one little thing that Joanne sent an email out from last time. Good thing to discuss. I didn't get into this last time because it's an auction that doesn't come up very often, but if it does, it's a good idea to have an agreement about it. And this is with our fourth suit forcing. And I'm actually surprised at how seldom I have seen this auction, but it will appear every now and then. And that's this auction right here, where we have bid all four suits in, we're still at the one level. And so the question that is asked is, because this is the only way you can bid all four suits and still be at the one level. It has to be literally right up the line with every suit like that. And so the crux of the question is one spade here fourth suit forcing? And the short answer is not really. One spade is natural. It's forcing for a round, as all new suits at the one level normally are. But it is not the artificial game force. And the reason that this shouldn't be is, especially if you look at this auction in terms of the opener who has started with a club and come back with a heart, could you still have a 4-4 spade fit on this auction? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because what if the opening bidder had something like, just to throw out an example, what if the opening bidder had something like that? The 4x1, by the way, arguably my least favorite hand type. This hand can be extremely hard to bid, especially the strong 4x1 when you have 17, 18, 19 points. When you get up there, it's a hand you theoretically could jump shift, but it doesn't necessarily paint the best picture. In this case, just a minimum. It's just kind of a minimum 4x1. But we'd open this a club, right?
Mm-hmm.
Partner bids a diamond. I don't think you should rebid a no trump with that hand because you're not balanced. In spite of the fact that you have both majors stopped, and that more often than not, when partner bids a diamond, they don't have a 4-card major, right? But the one diamond response does not deny a 4-card major. It could have a 4-card major with a longer diamond suit that is planning on doing some more bidding. So rather than come back with a no trump with this hand, I would come back with a major, and there's no reason not to go ahead and go up the line. So this is the kind of hand that I'd open a club, and when partner bids a diamond, I'm going to bid a heart next. So strangely, here we are in the second round of bidding, and nobody has mentioned spades yet, and yet we could have a 4-4 spade fit. So that's why we do this. So you could come back with a heart, and then now you hear partner bid a spade. Well, now you can raise to 2 spades, right? So, and then the more likely response that you would end up getting after naming all 4 suits naturally, the most likely response you would get by opener at that stage is 1 no, which is I guess we didn't particularly find a fit anywhere. And now responder, you can go ahead and do some more bidding if you want, if you're invitational or better, or you can pass a no trump. So we're back to this here being natural and forcing for a round, but not game forcing. So then the other part to that question is, well, what if we would like to force a game? We'd like to force the game, and let's go ahead and do it now. And so what we typically see, and this is what Joanne had asked about, and I said, well, I don't have the Seagram book handy. Does Seagram address this? What does she say? Because this seems to be, as far as I can tell, the most popular choice for how to do that. This funny looking jump to 2 spades, and that is often played as your game force, and can be and often is artificial. So that's the treatment that I would recommend if you happen to.
So if your
have that
partner did
option.
that, would you take them for opening points?
Yes. Yeah, I would treat that. And again, I mean, look, a lot of partnerships, we've never gotten around to discussing it because we didn't think to discuss it. The auction hasn't come up. But I actually did have it come up recently. And I said, what is this what we do here? And we confirmed, yeah, let's do that. So for example, I mean, this could be any kind of game force. In theory, you could still have a spade suit. I would say this is more likely to end up being hands where you have a game force and you don't have a spade suit. What if we gave you something like, I'll give you a pretty good hand here. What if we give you something like that? A partner opens a club. Could you bid a heart right now? You could. My preference is definitely when I have a game forcing hand to give partner accurate distribution. And I know that if I bid a diamond with this hand, that I'm going to be doing a bunch more bidding after that. Certainly to game and possibly slam if we find it fit simpler. So my preference with this hand, because diamonds is the longest suit, is to be as accurate as possible with pattern, bid my longest suit first and bid a diamond. All right, well, what if partner comes back with a heart? Well, you know you're playing at least 4 hearts at that stage, right? But you don't want to, so you need to force. But if you jump to 4 hearts right now, partner's going to pass, right? Almost certainly. You're pretty much placing the contract. I think you have slam interest with this hand. Not a sure slam, but I don't want to give up on it, and 4 hearts kind of gives up on slam. So this is the kind of hand where you might use this approach. So you bid 2 spades as the artificial game force, and let's say partner has a spade on her and says, okay, well, I don't see anything more interesting to do at this stage other than bid 2 no trump and let partner know we can play no trump. And then you could come back and then bid. Again, you wouldn't have to bid 4, you could bid 3 because you're in a game force. And now you have set trump. And you said, no, partner, you actually hit me when you rebid the heart. We have a heart fit. And not only do I want to be in game, which is why I forced the game first, but I actually may have some interest in slam. Can you tell me more?
What about a splinter?
So the problem with splinter here is that partner has bid a natural club. And so it would be a very specific, so once partner has bid a suit naturally, we typically lose our splinter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not to say that you couldn't have the agreement that a jump in clubs at some point is a splinter. However, especially in a partnership that isn't a very regular and refined partnership as far as agreements go, I can tell you that if you find yourself jumping to 4 clubs with that hand, you are asking for trouble.
Yeah.
Because partner might not interpret it. I mean, I would say that splinter is probably the 3rd choice is what partner would interpret it as, right? Because partner might take it as you know, you have a really good hand and you also have clubs, especially if you have it agree to suit somewhere else. So partner might think it's clubs, since you bid clubs naturally. Partner might think, and I am not at all a fan of Gerber on convoluted auctions like this, but since some people like to play Gerber in unusual situations, it could be taken as that. And so I worry with that kind of auction that that your intent may to paint the perfect picture of your hand may backfire on you.
Is four
So-
clubs also minor wood?
Yeah, I mean, like I
Potentially?
said, you know, we're getting into territory where, you know,
Yeah.
it depends what our agreements, yeah. If we play minor wood, four clubs might be, would, could be ace asking there too, so. Yeah, so I think, and, a general piece of advice that I always like to give. If you have a choice between a couple of bids, and one of those bids, if interpreted correctly, paints the perfect picture of your hand, but partner might miss it, and the other bid isn't the perfect bid, but it's one that partner will definitely understand, I always pick the latter. You know, I give up on trying to say, you know, trying to show partner exactly what I have, because you know, I'd rather keep the train on the track. So, but yeah, as far as fourth suit forcing goes, I think that's what I would do. You keep on that particular auction, and then you know, you shouldn't have any other fourth suit forcing auctions that I don't think would bring anything into question. It's just that one particular auction. So probably the easiest way to deal with it.